When you pick up a package of salmon in London, shrimp in New York, or tuna in Tokyo, it feels like a simple purchase. The label may show a country of origin, a sustainability logo, and a familiar supermarket brand. Most people naturally imagine a straightforward journey from a fishing boat to a store shelf. The reality is far more complex. Before that seafood reaches your plate, it may have crossed multiple oceans, passed through several countries, been frozen and processed thousands of miles from where it was caught, and moved through a supply chain controlled by a surprisingly small number of large companies. The hidden story is not only about fishing. It is about logistics, cold storage, shipping, processing, data, and global purchasing power. Once you understand how these invisible networks operate, every seafood aisle looks different. Seafood is among the most internationally traded food products on Earth. Every year, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fish and shellfish move across borders. Modern refrigeration allows seafood to travel extraordinary distances while remaining safe for consumers. A fish caught in the North Atlantic might be processed in Asia, packaged in another country, and finally sold in Europe or North America. At first glance, that route seems inefficient, but every step is usually designed to reduce costs, match labor availability, improve transportation efficiency, or meet demand in different markets. The result is an interconnected system where geography often matters less than economics. Most consumers imagine fishermen selling directly to distributors before products reach supermarkets. In reality, the journey usually includes fishing companies, processors, exporters, shipping firms, customs agencies, refrigerated warehouses, wholesalers, retailers, and restaurants. Every link adds value. But every link also creates opportunities for companies that control more than one stage of the process. That is where the industry's hidden influence begins to appear. Many of the world's largest seafood businesses do much more than catch fish. They invest in processing plants, refrigerated transportation, freezing facilities, logistics hubs, storage warehouses, and long-term contracts with retailers. Economists describe this as vertical integration. Instead of earning revenue from only catching fish, these businesses participate in several profitable stages of the supply chain. That creates remarkable efficiency, but it also gives them significant bargaining power. A small fishing company may need to sell its catch immediately, while an integrated company can freeze inventory, wait for stronger prices, process products into higher-value goods, and ship them wherever demand is highest. The competition is no longer just between fishing boats. It is increasingly between supply chains. One surprising reality is how far seafood often travels before anyone buys it. Processing costs vary widely around the world. In some situations, transporting frozen fish across oceans is less expensive than processing it near the place where it was caught. Large refrigerated container ships can move enormous quantities efficiently, allowing companies to take advantage of specialized facilities and labor markets. A consumer may believe a product stayed close to the coast where it was caught, when in fact it completed an international journey longer than many people travel in a lifetime. Another hidden feature of the industry is private label production. Supermarket shelves display dozens of different seafood brands, giving shoppers the impression of intense competition. Yet different packages may come from the same processing facility or the same international supplier. The branding changes while the production line remains the same. That does not automatically mean anything is wrong with the product, but it illustrates how concentrated parts of the industry have become behind the scenes. At this point, the story may sound like a lesson in efficiency, but efficiency creates something else as well: resilience for large companies and dependence for everyone else. When processing plants, distribution centers, and shipping networks become concentrated, disruptions can spread quickly. A labor shortage, port closure, severe storm, or transportation bottleneck can affect prices and availability in supermarkets thousands of miles away. During recent global supply chain disruptions, many consumers noticed higher seafood prices or temporary shortages. In many cases, the fish still existed. The challenge was moving it through the network efficiently. Modern seafood businesses increasingly rely on sophisticated forecasting systems. They analyze weather conditions, fuel costs, shipping schedules, exchange rates, consumer demand, restaurant orders, and retail purchasing trends. These data help companies decide when to freeze inventory, where to send shipments, and how to respond to changing demand. If one region experiences stronger demand while another faces weaker sales, shipments can be redirected across continents. Consumers rarely see those decisions. They simply notice that prices rise, certain species disappear for a few weeks, or different products suddenly appear on store shelves. Does this mean one secret corporation controls all seafood? No. The industry is far more diverse than that. Different species, regions, governments, cooperatives, regulations, and businesses all play important roles. However, researchers and industry analysts have repeatedly observed that a relatively small group of multinational companies exerts considerable influence over global processing, trading, and distribution. That concentration can reduce costs, improve reliability, and make international trade more efficient. At the same time, it may reduce competition in certain parts of the supply chain and increase the impact of disruptions when they occur. This growing focus on concentration has encouraged governments, researchers, environmental organizations, and consumers to pay closer attention to transparency, labor standards, sustainable fishing, and responsible sourcing. Reading labels more carefully can reveal where seafood was caught, where it was processed, and whether it carries recognized sustainability certifications. Those details tell a much richer story than a brand name alone. They reveal the invisible infrastructure connecting distant oceans to dinner tables around the world. The next time you walk through a supermarket and see perfectly arranged seafood on ice, remember that its journey may have involved multiple countries, advanced refrigeration technology, giant processing facilities, sophisticated logistics software, and global shipping routes before it ever reached your basket. The hidden product is not just seafood. It is one of the world's most complex supply chains working quietly behind the scenes every single day. Understanding that system helps explain why prices change, why shortages happen, and why events on the other side of the world can influence what appears in your local grocery store. So here's the question: have global food supply chains become too centralized, or are they simply the most practical way to feed billions of people? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden systems shaping everyday life, subscribe for more global investigations.